cool. So we're back. So no bullshit, gonna go straight back into it. So I did look up actually. God, I'm so fucking tanned. So I did look into actually Metal Raiders is actually the second set that came out, which kind of makes sense if you look at how there was Barrel Dragon and Black Skull Dragon, which is still Duelist Kingdom. I'm just actually curious as to what other cards were in this set, so I could kind of remember like what kind of era I guess like we were in when it came to I guess like the trading card game. I did remember I really wanted Barrel Dragon as a kid. You have no idea how annoying it was to have someone use Barrel Dragon against you and win those coin tosses. It might have been like one of the most obnoxious things you could really run into. Again, I had a Black Skull Dragon as a kid. I was actually lucky enough to pull it, but again, it got lost when I moved into my house, which is kind of a shame. Yeah, let's get right into it. Again, last video, if you missed it, you'll just look at it as the previous upload. But the difference between old cards and the newer cards is that the older cards, how you tell the difference, if you look up here, you'll see that the copyright, it will be 1996 and like the 1990s, as opposed to the reprints will all be like 2020 or something like that. And that's not including like the reprint unlimited. Those might be like in the 2000s, so those might have different watermarks, but at least for this one, you'll know that the most original ones will be like from the 90s. Whereas like the most recent one, these, aside from like the color difference, where I remember I pointed out the back of the cards for old cards were a lot darker, and these are like they're faded for some reason. So those are the differences. I thought the Eye of the Anubis would be a difference, but it wasn't actually. All the new cards and old cards had the Eye of Anubis. Like the colors are a lot washed out. So yeah. So once you moved into Metal Raiders, right, you start having monsters that had like 1600 attack, which were starting to be a little bit more comparable to the ones in the starter deck, where before it was just like, oh, you just had like a bunch of Lajins. Oh, there we go. Robin Goblin. This was my shit back then. If you run, the reason why I ran so many 2000 defense monsters, or at least like not a lot, right? A couple in my deck, is because if you had Robin Goblin, and I think I had Fairy's Meteor Crush as well too to pierce defense, every time you do damage, your opponent discards one card from their hand. And that probably was one of the most annoying things you could possibly do to someone as a kid, where I guess like there really wasn't like a lot of trap removal as well too. Like you're probably too dumb to run like remove trap, right? And most people probably didn't have Mystical Space Typhoon until you bought one. I think it was Star Deck Joey that had it, or if you're lucky enough to pull one, which I think Mystical Space Typhoon might actually be in Metal Raiders. But yeah, like if you had someone pop off Robin Goblin against you, then like it was probably one of the most annoying things you could do to someone. So like elegant egotist, you could summon the Harpy Lady Sisters, I remember, but the chances of you getting a Harpy Lady Sister is actually very low. I remember Harpy Brother, the 1800 attack base monster, was also one of my like my big hitters in my deck as well too. Because it's 1800 attack, unless you had like you went to the tournaments and you got like Gemini Sisters. 1800 attack for a 4-star monsters is a lot. Tribute of the Doom. Yep. That's actually one of the really big cards I had as a kid too. Tribute of the Doom, where yeah, it was just a really good card. What, discard one to remove one from your opponent's field, and you just destroy it. It was a pretty big card in my deck. Magical White Hat. It kind of had like a Robin Goblin. I guess you could kind of like pump him to do that kind of effect, but I don't think I ever ran it. It didn't really seem worth it to do that. Mushroom Man number 2, Feral Imp, Grass Clown. Oh, Harpy later says Speak of the Devil. Feral Imp, Grass Clown, Shadow Ghoul. I remember I really wanted to make Shadow Ghoul work. I remember trying putting it in my deck, but I don't think I really was ever able to do anything with it. Harpy Lady Sisters. I don't think cool in theory, I guess. It's actually really off center. It's hard to capture on camera, but the left side's very thin. But I don't think it was really that possible to run Heartbeat Later Scissors. To have a magic card to summon her, and it's only 1950 attack. At that point, you might as well have just ran Summon Skull or Jinzo. It was just not worth it to run Heartbeat Later Sisters back then. Stimpack, Thousand Dragon. Prevent Rat, I remember another 2000 defense monster. I remember I ran that as well too. Fake Trap. So Thousand Dragon is already our secret rare. Does that mean that I'm not gonna get Black Skull Dragon then? I remember Black Skull Dragon might have been also a secret rare as well too. Thousand Dragon, pretty cool. But you would need Time Wizard in order to run him. Was Time Wizard a super rare? I don't remember. I probably would have been pretty psyched to pull Thousand Dragon back then. Not gonna lie. Again, like when you were like a Yugi boomer, like you probably watched a lot of the TV shows as a kid. I'm just pulling all the holos off the top of the box though, I just realized. Does that mean there's gonna be like absolutely nothing on the bottom of the box? Pumpkin King. Oh, 7 Color Fish, 1800 attack monster. This was an amazing common to get back then. Or maybe I was just bad, but like for me, I thought it was a really amazing monster. I just ran, I think, like a good handful of 1800 attack monsters, and then I just ran a bunch of equipped cards like Malevolent Nuzzler that gave you like 700-800 attack. Empress Judge, Chimera, block attack. Yeah, I got like I guess I got opened so many of these packs as a kid. I kind of have an idea like, oh, okay, this was like a good card that I was considering running, or like this was just like not a card that was worth running at all. Yeah, I guess I'm not really that big on getting another Black Skull Dragon. It'd be nice to. That sounds like kind of copium, but like Disc Magician. It's kind of copium to say that, but like it's not like I plan to play these. Like honestly, like you could probably pick up a lot of these holos for less than $10. So there's really no point in actually like getting a box and chasing after these cards. Big Eye, I remember, I think I kind of ran this card as well too. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then place them in the top of your deck in any order. It wasn't really bad. Mask of Darkness. I remember people running these. It puts like a trap back from your graveyard back to your hand. Ryukishin Powered. That's a Star Deck Kaiba deck card. 1600 attack. Again, back then, like, you probably didn't have that many 1800 attack monsters or higher. Even like 1700 was kind of borderline, right? So like unless you bought like a lot of booster packs or anything like that, then you really wouldn't have a lot of high attack monsters. Sword and Shield was, I don't know if it was worth running, but I remember running it. I don't know if it's just because I saw it in the anime. That probably is why I ran it, because I saw it in the anime. Of course, I'm sure it had its uses. It was kind of like a meme card. Is it for 1 turn only? Yeah, until the end of the turn, maybe there's like meme purposes where you could run like a high defense monster like Labyrinth Wall and like ram it into people. Share the Pain, it wasn't a bad card. Great Moth. Great Moth has to be an uncommon. I don't remember ever seeing Great Moth as a kid. That has to be like one of those like short print rares. Because I don't remember. I remember opening Metal Raiders like a good amount, like a random packs, right? Not like a box. But I don't think I've ever seen Great Moth. I've have like a lot of like Shadow Ghouls and like random cards like Gazelle and stuff like that. Never Great Moth though. Does that mean I'm out of? So I think like my main thing was just getting Black Skull Dragon, but now that I had Thousand Dragon, I think that kind of rules it out, which is not a bad thing. I've never had Thousand Dragon before, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if Metal Raiders, actually, I think Metal Raiders might be the same set where you could get Gate Guardian as well too. I think Gate Guardian was also one of the secret rares in this set. Magician of Faith. This was a really big one. I think almost everyone ran it. What, you get 1 spell card back from your graveyard back into your hand. What does everyone bring back? Probably Monster Reborn. Or I guess if we had things like Swords of Revealing Light. I guess that's another big one that you get from the original set, right? Catapult Turtle. Let me look at Dark Elf first. Dark Elf was a 2000 attack monster, but it costs 1000 your life points to attack. Which in hindsight, if you think about it as a kid, 1000 life points seems like a lot. But then like as an adult, when you think about, oh, okay, I would sacrifice 1000 life points to have like a big monster swing. So Dark Elf technically would be like not a bad monster to run. Oh, look, at some point I got really mixed up and I started putting the rare cards into the common slot. I guess I'll just sort those later. Catapult Turtle. I remember there were like some like really cheesy tactics you could do with Catapult Turtle at some point. I would have really loved Catapult Turtle as a kid. Never pulled it actually. Because what? It's like one of Yugi's cards as well too, right? Once per turn, half of the attributed monster's attack. Yeah, I could see that being really broken. I remember why. Like there are probably like a lot of bullshit you could do with that and Cannon Soldier. There's a lot of bullshit you could do with that and Cannon Soldier as well too. Bistro Butcher. Your opponent draws 2 cards for 1800 attack. It's kind of shit. Maybe to mill people, but yeah, I remember like at one point I ran like a really meme deck with Gravity Bind, and I think like Gravity Bind Heavy Storm, another really good card. Heavy Storm. I mean, what more is there to say? You clear all spell and trap from the field. And then Witch of the Black Forest was like kind of like a card you would always want to run too, right? With Witch of the Black Forest, you could kind of search your deck. Same with like Sangan. And then I remember I always ran Cyber Jar as well too. Cyber Jar was like a really big game changer for me. Especially if you have things like Blue Eyes in your deck. If you just like clear the field with Cyber Jar. It's pretty much like a reset, right? So what? We have like 4 holos already. So we probably have a couple more holos left. Musician King, Tremendous Fire, Hyosube, another Cannon Soldier. Ancient Elf. I remember this was also in Yuki's deck as well too, I think. So getting down to the bottom of this. Sagi the Dark Clown. I don't think Crush Card Virus was actually a card you could... Was it like a tournament pack card? I don't remember. I don't think it's like a regular card you could just get though. Another Dark Elf. But Sagi the Dark Clown is like pretty like memorable as a monster, I would say. Because it's like what, the first time Kaiba played like that card virus. Alright, let's take a look. Next, Deep Sea Shark, another Sagi, Swamp Battle Guard, Mask of Darkness. All right, well, based on our last box, we had like what, like 5, 1, 2, 3. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last box, I think we had like 7 holos in the Blue Eyes White Dragon box. So technically, I think we should be getting 2 more if that's what the ratios are. So that would mean like every single box has 7 holos in them. Castle of Dark Illusion. I want to read this actually. Increase the effect of all zombie monsters as long as it remains on the field. Continued by 200 points each of your standby phases. I always thought it was a summon. Like it costs like a sacrifice to summon, but oh, it's only until the 4th turn. I guess it's not like an infinite activation. Muka Muka is kind of like a ghetto kind of like a ghetto, I was say Osiris, Slifer the Sky Dragon, but not really that great. But it like had like the same type of like boost, right, based on the cards in your hand, but the attack is just so low, is not even worth it. Not something you... And I got the Black Skull Dragon. I'm actually I'm actually pretty happy about it. This actually brings back a lot of memories. Oh, it's really funny actually. You could tell Black Skull Dragon is a reprint if you look at it, because on the bottom of it, I don't remember it having this extra text on it. This card is always treated as an Archfiend. I do not remember that as a kid. I'm actually really happy actually. This would mean that if I were to get more reprint boxes, I would not have to get Metal Raiders again, because I already have Black Skull Dragon now. Cool. So technically, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm right, then technically this last pack should have one more holo then. So that means it's always 7 holos per box. If I'm right. What the fuck is this monster? When this card is changed from attack to defense position, you can place any number of cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck in any order. That sounds awful. Why would I want to do that? Jirai Gumo as a kid, you think it's a piece of shit, but as an adult, again, right? As an adult, Jirai Gumo is a really good card. Look at if you at 2200 attack, so you could kind of just like throw it on the field to stall as a kid. There really weren't that many monsters that could climb over like even like 1800 attack, especially if you toss like equip to it. And you just toss a coin. If you call it right, you get the attack. If you call it wrong, you lose half your life points, but I think you can still attack. So yeah, I think you still attack. You just lose your life points if you call it wrong. Like, whatever, right? Mass Sorcerer. When this card's inflict on, draw 1 card from your deck. And I got a Barrow Dragon as well. I don't know if I got too loud. But this would have been like the most amazing box as a kid. I know like some people would want like probably like Gate Guardian or something like that. I actually sold my Kazajan first edition. I had Metal Raiders first edition, so that means that I probably had a first edition Black Skull Dragon. Oh well, whatever, right? That means that I sold the Kazajan first edition. I think I forgot for like $300 something or something like that. It was pretty crazy, $300 or $400, and someone actually bought it. Anyways, Barrow Dragon. Yeah, so while it was annoying, right? Once per turn, you could target one monster your opponent controls. There's no downside to this. It's just like a bonus. You toss a coin 3 times. If you get 2 heads, then it just destroys it. It doesn't seem like a lot with probability, but it happens quite often. So if we look at this, this was an amazing box. Like if we look at also, I still have my Blue Eyes White Dragon box cards right next to me, right? That I opened. If I had polymerization and I had Baby Dragon, and probably I would need Red Eyes then, right? Oh, actually, never mind. I guess I just wouldn't have made like a really dope deck, but it still would have been pretty dope to get like this box. Tribute of Doom you can run, Heavy Storm you can run, maybe Capable Turtle, but like definitely like most of these cards you could run, along with a lot of like the rares I pulled in this, like Witch of the Dark Forest, probably like, oh, I guess like 7 Color Fish was kind of short printed. There really wasn't that many. Shadow Golem, probably not. Yeah, Robin Goblin. Like this, like if I had this, like it probably would have like started creeping a little bit closer to the deck that I had as a kid. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this opening. I'm still waiting for my Pharaoh Servant box to come in, and then I believe I have 1 or 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon boxes that should be coming in as well too. I probably will be opening those. For that, I'll see you guys soon again. Okay, bye.